Oh, shit. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, it's been one of those days. Seriously.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone.
It's been
Welcome to another episode of Deux.
Witches.
Yes. Quarantine edition.
That's so true.
It's true, right? Yeah. Hey, everyone. I was wondering if everybody was going to show up because I only saw Johnny. But hey, Nikolai and Aconite. Aconite? Is that how you say it? Aconite? Tell me if the male witch. Yeah. Aconite. Is that how you're pronouncing your name? What are we talking about tonight? We're talking about Beltane.
Kind of.
Beltane and how it's different than it was last year.
How it's different than it was
how it's and the year before and every other year ever. Whether you're here in the US or Europe or France or UK.
Yeah.
Oh, it is a poison? I didn't realize it was a poison. Am I saying it right? Nikolai, is it aconite? Aconite?
French, I know.
I've never heard of it. How do you say it in France?
Aconite.
Oh, aconite. I like it better. So I'm drinking some wine tonight. Can you see my?
I don't even have any coffee because I drank it already.
Can you see my wine glass?
Yeah. Oh yeah, with
it's a plum wine, a Japanese plum wine.
Sounds
aconite. Yeah, it's another name. Oh, wolfsbane. Oh, okay. I've heard of wolfsbane before. Oh, okay. That's aconite. Thank you, Nikolai.
I knew aconite, but I didn't remember the name in English. So for me, it was clear. not that much for you, apparently.
Hey, Shadowlander.
Hey.
Oh, hey. I did not Shadowlander. So wait, that's not how you come up in the group. What is your name in the group?
It's not the same. It's if it's about the storm tarot deck.
Yeah, because someone's been putting pictures of their tarot deck that they're making in the group, but it's not Shadowlander. It's
I don't remember. Sorry.
Shit. Me either. Anyway, so yeah.
So we're gonna be a bit all over the place.
Yeah. I'm kind of like really low energy today. Samantha Kennedy, that is it. Yeah, Samantha Kennedy. Yes. I think it's a cute tarot deck. Very personal.
And it's always good, I think, to have
your
own tools. And a tarot deck or an oracle deck.
I want to make a tarot deck. I want to make a tarot deck.
So do it. It's not that complicated.
But I'm not an artist.
Yeah, but yeah.
Blessed Beltane to everybody too. We're supposed to be talking about Beltane. Honestly, guys, I don't know what we're talking about tonight.
No, me neither. I don't know.
Hey, Kimmy.
It was very different.
Be safe out here. We love y'all. I have to go now. My phone is dying. Oh, no. Don't leave us, Kimmy. Don't leave us.
Oh, too bad.
Yeah.
Can't you plug it?
Yeah, plug it in and stay with us, Kimmy.
If you can. But if you don't want to, you're
Yeah, if
totally
you don't want to, we won't cry or anything if you leave us. So I spent Beltane. I spent the day out in the yard doing some yard work. I wrapped up. I finished my first draft of the Witchcraft book I'm writing. I finished the first draft.
Yeah.
I need to look through it and add some stuff. Then I got to give it to my editor who will read through it. I'm waiting for some illustrations from my artist because there's going to be a couple of little illustrations inside. I have to talk to my my son is going to do the book cover, so I got to talk to him about what I want in the cover. Then I have one beta reader who said they would read through it and give honest, what they think it might be lacking, what they'd like to see added in it as a practicing witch.
Uh-huh.
And once I get it back from that person, then I will get a proof copy. If I like the proof copy, I'm going to send a proof copy to my translator, who is going to translate it into a foreign language for me.
Sounds about good.
It sounds awesome. It is a witchcraft book. It is written for the witch who is either gone through a transition or who has been stagnant for a while, and who is looking to get back into their practice. So it's not a 101 book, but there's going to be a lot of if you pick it up and you look at it, it looks like there's a lot of 101 information.
Reminder, and kind of like charts and things, useful, probably something like that.
Well, it's basically my subtitle is Going Back to the Basics. Yeah. But it's looking at 101 things from a perspective of someone who's already done it. Yeah. So it's basically, I'm not gonna go into the definition of what evocation is. Yeah. I'm not going to explain how to cast a circle. Yeah, it is going into the idea that you know what these things are, you know how to cast circle if that's what you do. But it's going to revisit the idea, why do we have sacred space? Why do you do it? And how can you look at it from a new perspective or a fresh perspective? Yeah. And just sort of getting back to the basics, but with an understanding you already have a practice. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to, I suppose, here's the thing. I suppose someone who is brand new to witchcraft could pick up it and do it. Mm-hmm. If they have some knowledge and maybe a very, very basic understanding. But it's not written for someone who never did witchcraft and is interested in it. You got to have some kind of basic knowledge before you pick it up and do the exercises in it, because otherwise you may not be able to do it. I don't know. We'll see. At least that was my idea. So I need to, now that it's all down in on paper, I got to go back and look at it and see if it still works that way.
Yeah.
See
if you want to add something
or take something out. Yeah. It's not a very long book either. I'm like, oh, damn, maybe it's not long enough. Well, I don't know.
It doesn't need to be long, I think. Not necessarily.
Yeah. Everybody wants quick stuff nowadays anyway, right?
Yeah. How I feel about that. So,
So hopefully, I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, that's I need to read through it again now that I got all the information down. I need to read through it again and make sure it all flows, and then I'll have someone else read it, because you sit with information for such a certain amount of time, and then you're like, you second guess everything because you've been working with it for a while.
Yeah.
Like, oh, maybe this isn't what it should say, or this isn't how I should approach it.
That's why taking time to reread and contemplate your work is always a good thing.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. I already have like a couple of people that, I've been talking to other than you, Obsidian, obviously, about it. And they're like, oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. It's about time. How come you haven't written a witchy book yet? I'm like, oh, some of my fiction is very witchy.
Yes, it is. That's true. But I bet when you go for a fictional book, you're gonna follow the story, of course, but it's not the same.
No, but you know what I found myself doing?
No.
The Secrets of Sin series that I wrote, that I'm taking a hiatus from.
Yeah.
A lot of the chapters begin with like a lesson in them. I have one about time, and I have a lesson about familiars.
Yeah.
And I have a couple of lessons about runes and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, some of that ended up in this book too. Because it's some basic information, right?
Yeah. And that's absolutely
I'm like,
true.
that's a good lesson. I think I need to incorporate that.
And you were right. You were right, because obviously it is, witchcraft. So it's obvious. So yeah, it's easy to find a place for this into like a serious book about witchcraft. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is serious.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my husband and I started on Netflix. We started rewatching. We had watched some of The Magicians, and we stopped on season 3 or 4, I think. And just last night or the night before, we were like, oh, let's finish the seasons. Because I read the first book, and we want to pick up the other books. Did you read or watch any of The Magicians? No, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. But I was just thinking of witchy stuff and fiction and stuff, and that made me think of that. What have you been watching on Netflix?
Nowadays, Marvel.
Oh, Marvel. Yeah.
What
are you guys watching now?
We are into The Punisher.
The Punisher. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So don't tell me anything, because
I'm not going to say anything.
We didn't end it. Yeah, we are, trying to follow the chronological order. So we are going from one series to one another to the next one, and then we go back to season 2 of this one, and so
yeah.
it's a patchwork of series that we are watching.
Lily, is A Discovery of Witches on Netflix? And Nikolai, did you read the books of The Magicians? I'm doing great. I'm Magic Witch. Oh, that's Johnny. Okay. 3 new books on Amazon: Old World Witchcraft, The Black Arts, and True Black Magic. Okay, so Old World Witchcraft, is that by Grimassi? Raven Grimassi? And who's The Black Arts? Who wrote that? And True Black Magic, who wrote that one? Hulu? Okay, I thought The Discovery of Witches, I didn't think it was on Netflix, because if it was, I would have put it on my queue. I don't have Hulu, but I have ways to borrow stuff, so I'll have to check that out. No, you just saw the show. Nikolai, if you do read, if you're a reader and you like to read, The Magician, the book, I think the book is so much better. There's a character in the show that isn't even in the book, and I didn't like her storyline anyway. And then some other things kind of are changed a little bit. Like Quentin, the main character in The Magicians, I find him kind of mopey in the show, but in the book, his character is so much meatier. It's more in depth. You know what I mean? You know how things are in books are so much better.
Yeah. Always.
So Nikolai, if you're a reader, I would encourage you to read. It's a trilogy. I need to get the last 2 books. But oh, you know what I am reading? I read Practical Magic, and I am reading the prequel, The Rules of Magic, I think it is, about the aunts from Practical Magic. It's a book about them. Oh, I'm almost done. That's a good one. I really enjoy it. What? Quentin died? I am not. He's not dead in this season I'm watching.
Too bad.
Spoiler.
Oh God.
Man, that was a big spoiler. Hey, Jasmine. How are you doing?
Hey.
Sorry. Yeah. I'm going to pretend like I didn't even read that, and I'm not even going to know. I'm going to be so surprised. Don't say any more about the show. Ugh.
Hey, it's nice to see you too, Jasmine. You didn't knew me, but I did knew you. So, sacred circle and all.
Yeah,
So.
I was trying to catch up on some of her videos. I think I'm almost caught up, except I think she did a new one recently. So I got to go back over to her. You could be lying. Yeah, okay, Nikolai, when do you lie? I know you better to know you don't lie. Oh, how's the virus? We were talking about this before we came on. So let's talk about the virus there.
Well, it's kind of in France and around, we are approaching the 2 months of it's more of a lockdown than a stay at home. Of course, we are asked to stay at home, but it is enforced, and it's a good thing. So it's more of a lockdown. There is very few business running, but we are approaching a line where we are supposed to reopen. It's a very chaotic moment. We don't know exactly where we going. Schools are supposed to reopen, which is a bad thing, obviously. But we need the child to be taken care of in order for some again to go to work again. So I bet that's why they are reopening schools. Of course, there is rules. It has to be changed, like not more 15 child per class and things like that. But we know it's not gonna work because there is not enough space, enough teachers, enough anything. And how do you make child respect social distancing? I mean, just this one thing is a mess, and we know it's a mess. So we don't. When the time will be there, it will be 18th of May. 18th, yeah. We are not, as a parent, I'm not forced to put my child back to school. And personally, I won't, because I know it's a real bad idea. So I won't do that. But we are supposed to. And accept that, well, the virus is still there. Some part of the country are more infected than others. So, no one knows how to deal with that. So we're gonna go along and see how we can deal with that. The pressure starts to relieve on healthcare system, so that's a good point. And yeah, and we're gonna wear masks and and the businesses are trying to cope with that, putting some new, protection glass and things. And we're gonna try to go through, and we'll see. And if when the country starts to reopen slowly, if it doesn't work well enough, we're gonna know that kind of rapidly, I think. And we start from there. And honestly, I think we are conscious there will be a second wave. There will be. It's obvious. The virus is there. It's everywhere. It's gonna go back. It's gonna go back because it spread too fast, too much, too quickly.
Yeah.
Gonna have to live with that. And if we are not clever or smart enough to respect social distancing while we are waiting for treatment or vaccine, then it's gonna bite again. As simple as that.
I almost wonder.
No, I don't think it's a natural. I think it's a natural one.
I wonder if there's ever going to be a time now when it's gone. It's until a successful vaccine is made, I don't think we're going to see it go away completely. And you know what the scary thing is? Well, maybe not the scary thing, but
the worrying thing, maybe. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, or the interesting thing is my husband's been watching a lot of Star Trek Next Generation, and now he's gone back to the early Star Trek. And I've been watching on Netflix Madam Secretary. It's a political show. And I was watching something else on Netflix. But recently, in the things that we've been watching, there's been it was in Madam Secretary, the political show. It's an older show. And they were looking at a document, a report of 20, it's fictional, but it's fictional, but Madam Secretary, she's the Secretary of State. And she was reading a report that was compiled. It was called the 2030 report. And it was supposed to be looking at the state of the United States in 2030. It was like a prediction. If we did this, then this is what we were going to see. And one of the things that they talked about, and I'm not sure what year this TV show came out, but they predicted that in 2030, there were going to be diseases that jumped from animals to humans, along with a bunch of other stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it didn't take 2030.
No,
it took 2020.
It's around us for a long time already. The thing is, we are growing into the natural space of wild animals. So they don't have a place to live anymore. We come across them too much, too often, in a too large group of humans going into this wide territory, and we are unequipped. I mean, look at us. And no fangs, no shit. I forget how it's when like the cats. Oh, claws. Yeah, claws. So no claws, no fangs, no nothing. We are useless. You are so fragile. So
I wanted to. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's obvious. Those animals are stronger than we are. They are more resistant than we are. And of course, when we come in contact with some of them we catch disease that the whole human race has never heard about. So there is no need, in my opinion, for charged virus. This is just a virus, and it's one amongst many. And if you know a little bit about bats, they are like superhero of the animal world. They are strong, resistant, like crazy. I mean, we are nothing in comparison, you know. So yeah, no surprise that this comment crushes all. We never had the chance to develop resistance. It's a totally new one. That's why it is spreading like this. And if there wasn't that much exchange between country, you know, with the far
Right.
travel in plane, in boats, and everything,
Yeah.
if there wasn't that much exchange, maybe we could, you know, avoid the spreading. But the way we live now, no way. And
Yeah.
it's probably not the last virus.
Yeah. No,
It's
I
the
was
first
thinking that too.
virus.
Yeah. Because of the way that we're able to, I mean, on different things, like the fact that we can travel from country to country is an amazing thing, because then we're able to see new things and have new experiences. But in that, we also have the capability of spreading disease and illness that we didn't have years ago, when it took days or months by boat to get from one place to another. And in that time, everybody on the boat died of whatever it was that they had, you know?
Yeah. And you know what's happening also, which is not which is not at all a virus, but maybe we can think of it this way. With the exotic animals thing, some are, you know, wanted by people who buy wild animals to have it in their home. And this is not a good idea, first, because it's a wild animal, so it has nothing to do in your home. It's not his home. So, okay. But sometimes they escape. And it can happen that they grow there where you put it, or it gonna mix with another species of this branch, and it gonna create a new one, like bees that, you know, cross with another bee, a local bee, and create a new super strong races of bees. This is kind of a virus too, because here we have the Asiatic. It's not a wasp. It's bigger. It's a bigger wasp. I don't know what's the name of it, but it came here probably because of the commercial exchange. Maybe there was, you know, like a nest somewhere
Oh,
in a
yeah, yeah,
sheep,
yeah.
and it came into our land, and now it is spreading across this part of Europe, and it's killing bees. But if bees die, flowers die,
Yep.
you know, butterflies die, and the whole natural cycle is messed up, and it's already done. I mean, we've messed with the planet that much that we had species entirely killed. This disrupts the natural cycle.
That's the same way with like plants. If you bring a plant from one country to another country and you transplant it where it didn't naturally grow, it can be evasive and take over other plants and or other areas where more local plants would grow, and it can no longer grow there.
Yeah, absolutely. It happens into the water with, the
Algae and stuff.
yes,
Yeah.
it is happening in our coast because and this one I think it's because it's becoming hot enough for it to
Oh,
grow.
yeah.
So all of this is linked. There's no need to think about the crafted virus or anything like this. It's our work. I mean, we had shit on this planet for so long. Now we are just, you know, seeing the result of what we've done.
Yep. I just wanted to answer some stuff in the chat. So, okay. Hi, Scotty. Say hello to Scotty. Hi, Scotty.
Hi.
So the video that Jasmine had done, she was rambling about the dangers of publicly sharing your intimate natal chart details. Because you know what she talked about, because if you share too much, then people will know too much. I think that's details about you anyway, in any way. Like if I know too much about someone who's sharing some intimate details online about themselves, if I want to do magic against them, that's a lot of information you can use on them for that, especially with Facebook. Old World Witchcraft is by Raven Grimassi. The Black Arts is authored by Richard Cavendish, and True Black Magic is Joseph Peterson. I haven't read any of the other ones. The Old World Witchcraft, I think I've read some of it by Grimassi, which is why I was like, yeah, I thought that was by him. Nikolai, I didn't realize you were from Are you in New York City? Because he was talking about it's hard to find antibacterial soft soap in New York City right now, and prices on certain things have tripled. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's true, and it's kind of, and there is, I mean, USA wasn't especially prepared, should have, but didn't, and you're not the only one, because once again, it's like a sign of the time. Too much capitalism pushed the countries to like save money on things that were judged as unnecessary, like stocks of masks and any other PPE, and so we are numerous right now.
Well, I also think. Oh, sorry. I was going to say
lacking of stuff. We are so.
Yeah, well, not only the lacking of producing the things, but people panicking and going crazy and overbuying the things so that other people don't have the opportunity to get the things that they need, because you have these crazy ass people buying truckloads of shit that they don't need, which then depletes the warehouse, and then it takes time for the warehouse to be restocked so it can be sent out to their stores. That's just insane. Zach, the show was originally going to be about Beltane, what we did for Beltane and why this Beltane is different than last Beltane. But we're kind of talking about the quarantine and witchcraft too. We were talking about books about, so basically whatever. Do you have a question? Zach, do you have a question?
It's
or a comment?
Yeah. Because this Beltane was kind of no Beltane, so it's just so different.
I spent Beltane outside, like I said, working in the yard. It was beautiful today. The weather is gorgeous. My husband and son are going to be making a second raised bed in the backyard so I can grow some more vegetables. I ordered some more bird feeders and other garden things because I was doing some work in the garden and landscaping the front yard. So we need to expand our driveway. We need to flatten it, level it, and put some gravel there so 2 cars can fit there. Trimming back some trees because our neighbor is just letting her shit grow everywhere over the property line. Whatever.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at Beltane. It's a very good day for fertility and for springtime. But what magic could we do on this holiday? Earth magic? Yeah. Well, like I said, I was spending time outside. Fertility. And Beltane for me is also the flip side of Samhain or All Hallows Eve. So, I mean, spirit communication, as it is great on Samhain or All Hallows Eve, it's also great on Beltane as well. Hex your ex. Yo, go ahead. Do it. You know, the rosemary I planted last year did not do well. But I thought the lavender that I planted last year died. But even though there's no flowers on it right now, it still looks okay. So I'm going to see if I can still nurture that. I'd like to plant. I want 2 big ass rosemary bushes is what I want in the front yard. But we'll see. I really like a cherry blossom tree too. You know, a cherry tree. I would like one of those. I'd love a weeping willow, but I don't think that's going to happen because we don't own the house. So we have to just check with our landlord. I planted my rosemary herb in a pot in the house. Okay, yeah. So here's the problem here where I'm at. I'm in Seattle, Washington. It is very wet here in Seattle. Very wet. And it rains a lot in the winter. In the summer, it doesn't, but in the winter, it rains a lot. And any sort of plants, I tried to have plants last year, but it's so wet that they got moldy in the house. And we have a dehumidifier that runs constantly in this house. But there's so much moisture in the air that if I'm trying to start plants or keep plants in the house, we get mold. They become mildewy. So it really is difficult.
Yeah.
I have a cherry blossom tree and they bring good cheer as the flower essence always brings. I know. Our pear tree in the backyard sprouted some pretty blossoms, but they don't last very long. The lady across the street has a cherry blossom tree. It's so pretty. I'd like to plant one, but I'd have to check with the landlord first.
Yeah, I bet you do, yeah.
Plant some literal and metaphysical seeds. Honor the spirits of the land you live on. Bake some delicious seasonal inspired food. Go mushroom hunting. Learn more about native plants in your area. We have mushrooms here, crazy. Not now. A couple of months ago, we had mushrooms springing everywhere over here. Crack a cold one, summon an old one. I love that. Yes. Do it. Silk trees bring good cheer as well and used as a medicine. Gluten-free chocolate chip cookies with dried cherries on top. Well, Jiva, you should have sent me some. I would have loved gluten-free chocolate chip cookies. Oh, peppermint didn't grow. Are you planting anything this year?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Where?
In a pot? Can you do no?
No, because I tried, but there isn't enough sunlight. We are
That's right. I think you and I
on the wrong side of the building. So I try, but first my cat destroyed it
Oh,
partly.
Salem destroyed your plants?
Yeah,
Never.
yeah, it's the first thing he has done. But I bet he was right because the 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 few who survived the attack didn't grow because I knew it was going to be difficult, but because not enough sunlight, and yeah, not enough. So
Yeah.
maybe one day when I will be able to get a home with a house with a garden of some kind, but for now, nah, useless. Nothing
Yeah.
grows. Too
Here
bad.
it is where we were in Massachusetts. I had a really difficult time growing anything because we
Oh,
were where the house was, the plot of land was sort of lower than the two neighbors.
oh,
And when you look at old maps of the area, the plot of land that the house was built on used to be a pond. It fed
oh,
the mill. There was a mill. So it
okay.
was a mill pond. So either the mill pond dried up or they filled it in, and then the house was built on that plot. So that's why we were, our two neighbors, we were like lower. So we had a lot of water that would collect there. So it was sort of nice, but then it was too moist, very similar to here. But we didn't get any sunlight, just like you. The sun would hit the front of the house, but not the back of the house where the land was. So I tried to plant stuff, but it wouldn't get enough sunlight and it was too damp. So that didn't work out.
Yeah.
Here, it's damp in the winter, but in the summertime where the raised beds are, well, one is, and the second one, it gets sun for all morning, all the way up until mid-afternoon, and then it gets shade. So that's going to be a wonderful place for me to plant. And we did great with the vegetables that we planted last year. So
That's nice. Yeah, one
I
time.
love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
one
What are your
time.
thoughts on nature spirits native to your lands? Jasmine.
Well, here, for what I encountered, I may say it's more out of the tree. It's more forest spirit. There is mountain all around, but too far away. And yeah, no, I didn't came across anything. But there are more, yeah, trees essence. There is some very interesting trees also around, vibrant, kind of, very energetic one. So here, yeah, it's a greenland.
Yeah.
So spirits are aligned with this vibration and the prevalent nature, if I might say.
Yeah, there is definitely, and I've had this discussion with a few people, that the land here in Washington, I live in Seattle right now on the Puget Sound. And from my, on the way to drive my daughter to one of her volunteer jobs that she does, we can see the mountain from where we're at. I believe it's Mount Rainier. So there's mountains, there is the Sound, which opens to the ocean, and then it's very green here, as I've said, very green. I live on a little lake. Well, not right on the lake, but I can walk to the lake. So I live in Seattle, but even though downtown Seattle, I can see it from the main road here, I really don't live downtown, even though I live in Seattle proper. But the land spirits here are very different than where I lived in Massachusetts. And the energy is so different. It's more fae energy here that I sense, more land spirits, where in Massachusetts I dealt with a lot of dead, the ghosts, the spirits of those who have passed. It's the contrast feels like old back in Massachusetts and new and wild here, where it's more dead there, and not necessarily dead in a bad sense either.
No. I understand what you mean.
It's definitely different. I know there's Native American land in both places, clearly. I don't know much about the mythology. I don't know if there's a lot. I know Jasmine had said something about what Fae lore is native in the state. I don't know at this point. We're in the second year of living here. I don't know the lore that surrounds Washington. I know there's a lot of Native American history here. Seattle being Chief Seattle, that helped the people settle here. But I don't know what the lore is concerning the Fae, though I know I am familiar with the Fae. It's so strange because in the old house, in the old place that we lived in Massachusetts, there were ghosts that lived in the house, and I had a lot of paranormal experiences in that house. Oh. There is no ghosts that live in this house. The paranormal experiences that we've been having are definitely more connected to Fae, mischievous Fae, who will do... we've had a few knocks on the door behind me here, but it's not the same as the knocks on the door at the other house. It's just different.
Yeah.
It's so different.
Yeah, I can tell. Where I was living before, I mean, way before now, because I'm here since a long period of time. I was living in a city, and it's an old one, like an old one, older than any of your town, because it was around since the Middle Age. So there was in there cities building from 11th centuries, 10th century. So it's old. And so I get the vibration you talked about, the old thing, the dead thing. And yeah, when I was living there was a lot of this. Even if we were into a city, I was living in the old part of the city. The stone, even the stone on the building were charged up with so much things. There was a lot of dead running around. So yeah, I get it. And here it is very, very, very different. Very different. Wilder and less dead.
Exactly. Jasmine, what sort of infestations did your family have here in Washington? And the other thing about Washington State, Washington State is so big, as opposed to Massachusetts. I don't know how many Massachusetts we could fit in the state of Washington. So depending on where in Washington, there's this mountain range that splits the state into almost like two different regions. So if you're near Spokane, they have 4 seasons, just like in Massachusetts. You know, they have snow. They have snow in winter and, sun in summer, and they have the 4 seasons. on this side of the mountains, the winter is very mild and it just rains. We had maybe a brief snowstorm, but nothing, well, except the year before, but that was a fluke. We don't really have 4 seasons here. We have rain and we have sun. We have 2 seasons, rain and sun. But so I'm curious, it is a beautiful state. What kind of infestations did they have? Oh, she said it's a beautiful. Jasmine, what sort of infestations did they have? Because if I was in Massachusetts and I said I had an infestation, it would be ghosts, like of the dead, ghosts of the dead. Here, I would assume it's more like brownies, or what is the other word? Isn't it brownies that cause mischief in the home? Arab. My family that lives there lives north of Mount Zion. They live kind of out of the city, and the woods around them have what they call, pugwidgies. Yeah, I read about those little blue people. Yeah, aren't they like Native American fae? Puckwudgies? I read about them. Yeah. Aren't they like Native American fae kind of things? Yeah, we've had the first year that we lived here, there was like nothing. And it was weird because when I first moved into the house, the house and the land felt very barren. Like, it was weird. It was like empty. Really, it was like empty. And then porcupine people. Okay. Yeah, like Native American fae. Exactly. But the second year, so the first, I'd say like the first year we moved here, it was pretty barren. But this past year, as we moved to July 4th weekend. So going into this year is our third year. We're finishing up our second year. We're going into our third year. That's when the land kind of has sprung to life. And I think it really has something to do with me spending time outside and really connecting with the energy and the nature spirits of the land, really seriously getting my hands in the dirt and really talking to the spirit, literally talking out loud as I worked in the yard. And I've been feeding the birds and connecting with the squirrelies that live in our yard, and really getting to know the energies, the crows. We have so many crows. And really just connecting with that really has brought the energy up. And I feel like it's almost like me saying, hi, I want to be your family kind of thing. It's different. It definitely is different. What? Animals constantly getting fleas or vomiting. Oh, that's the infestation, right? Okay, right. Yeah. No, I haven't had anything weird, although it's like knocks. Like, I can tell when it's a raccoon on our roof, or I can tell when it's a squirrel, or I can tell when it's a bird. But they're weird knocks, and it sounds like someone's at the front door, and you go to the front door and you open the door and there's no one there. Yeah, there's no package. It wasn't the UPS man, it wasn't the postman, and it wasn't FedEx. There is no package, but there is clearly someone that knocked on the door. And nobody walking down the street. Yeah, but I can tell it's not a ghost. Not a spirit of a dead person kind of thing. Seem to not take kindly to mortal humans. They are known to shapeshift. Oh, into various woodland animals. The weird thing, and Obsidian, maybe you have some insight. I would say it's only been this week, It hasn't been every single day, but it happened today. It didn't happen yesterday or the day before, but it happened the like 2 or 3 previous days. I'm not the only one that heard this. My husband heard this happen once. And maybe but I can never tell what it is. Something, I'm assuming it's a bird, is flying into the kitchen window. Like you hear a bonk, but then you go up to go see, and I don't see anything. My husband thought he might have seen something like try to fly into the window. It happened today. But the thing is, the kitchen window is not very big.
Yeah.
And it's the weirdest thing. Like when it happens once, you're like, oh, that's weird. But this is like a constant thing.
Yeah. I doubt that a bird would try twice.
At least not the same bird, right?
Not the same, yeah. But yeah. And if the window is not that big,
I should take a picture and I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
But it's the strangest thing. And then I thought, this is a sign. This is something.
Yeah.
But what the fuck is this sign supposed to be? So I should
thing. It can also be a lot of different beings. So I guess you need to have like a bunch of facts to tie together to start to understand what is it. Can you tie this to something else happening, like in the same area, in the kitchen especially, or just near it? Do you have some like events? No, not that much.
You and I maybe it might be something I don't want to talk about. So maybe you and I should talk about it later. But I want to mention it so that you and I can talk. I can't think of anything though. But if we start brainstorming, I don't want to be like, oh my God, you're so right. I don't want to be on air if that happens.
Yeah, I understand. No problem.
A loud trumpet coming from the sky, and then the ground was shaking in this huge cloud that would not change its shape. And this was my experience. That's weird. That was Nikolai. Was that in New York that happened to you? Talk to the crows and ravens. Talk to the squirrels. Look at the Fey lore of Washington. I really should. That'd be interesting. In Seattle, my mom used to have to put decals on the windows to help the birds not crash into them. Okay, Purr. The thing is, this window is not very big. That's so weird. I have never had this happen. I remember being on a school bus in Massachusetts going on my way to school because I lived pretty far from the school I went to, and a bird flew into the window of the school bus. That was pretty scary because that squished bird, but I've never had this experience. And I know that some people say with your sliding doors, the glass sliding doors, you need to put decals, which we have sliding doors, but we also have like an overhang and a patio area. And then there's like bushes around it. So that bird would really have to like fly underneath to get there. But I don't know.
Yeah, sounds unlikely.
Yeah, it's really strange.
Yeah, sounds unlikely.
Purr, hi there. I didn't even know you were in our chat. Hello.
Yeah, I've seen her earlier, but I didn't want to disrupt the conversation.
Oh, hey. We should have. Hey, Purr. I'm going to look at the fairy lore of Washington. Birdseed is supposed to be a good offering. Yeah, I if they're little porcupine people who are not. Well, you think? Oh, and it's funny. So she thinks that Jasmine thinks it could be them trying it. I hope not. I wouldn't want them trying to come into the house. New York City. Okay, so Nikolai's experience was in New York City. but it's been happening all over the world. They call it Gabriel's horn being blown. I swear it's the same sound of a trumpet and a whale moaning coming from the sky. Oh, I unfortunately ran over a pigeon yesterday. Oh my God.
Too bad.
Oh, yeah. Did you? You scraped him off the road to give him a good parting? Aw.
You.
Aw. Well, it is 9:30.
Yeah.
I didn't even finish my wine yet.
It's not too late.
So, Obsidian.
Yeah.
I know you were, there was concern about you having to go to work and all.
Yeah.
That doesn't look like it's going to happen in May, does it?
Not in May, but probably in June.
Okay, so that means we can have at least one more episode. Okay, so I'm looking here. So it looks like per our schedule, it would probably be when? The 8th? No, this is the 1st. So the 15th?
Yeah.
Maybe. So that's when our next live is probably going to be, everybody. The 15th. I'm writing it in my calendar now. Live stream 8:30 Pacific Standard Time on the 15th of May. Oh.
And after that, we think to how we're going to do after the summer break.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. And you guys,
because I mean, I don't know how this.
What are we going to do? I don't know what we're going to do. But you guys are lucky that we're in quarantine, because normally that weekend, my husband and I would be going away to celebrate our anniversary. But because we're still in lockdown, or at least in quarantine, phase 1 of the Washington state reintegration, it looks like we're going to be on lockdown until the end of May. So my husband and I cannot go away for our anniversary. It is so sad because,
we probably have to cancel our plan for my son's birthday. And
my daughter's birthday was in March. She didn't have a birthday either. Yeah. And her graduation is supposed to be June 4th. Her high school graduation, that's probably not going to happen either.
No, but we are so many to be in the same, circumstances. If it can help, maybe we are not alone in this. We are all together in this.
Nikolai suggests our topic be incantations, how to use them and how to make them work for you. Maybe. We'll see.
Okay, thanks for the suggestion. Anyway.
Yes, thank you for the suggestion. If anybody else has suggestions, please, we're always looking for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry about the weird beginning, because I feel out of practice in this. So, but I was like, oh shit. I wonder how that looks. I'll have to look at that on playback. But thank you all for joining us. This was fun, and look for our show on the 15th. We'll be back, and then we'll have to figure out what the heck I'm going to do.
We will think about
I'll figure something out.
Yeah.
So thank you all. I love you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Blessed be.